It began with a document few people were ever meant to discuss. Deep within royal administrative circles, reports suggest Prince William approved a decision that immediately sent shockwaves through palace corridors. At the center of the controversy stood a collection of highly sensitive royal archives and a restriction that allegedly affected Queen Camilla directly. What started as a quiet administrative move would soon ignite one of the most explosive debates surrounding power, legacy, and trust. Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. At first, almost nobody outside a small circle of palace officials appeared aware that anything unusual had taken place. According to reports circulating among royal commentators, an internal review of archive access procedures had been quietly underway for some time. Such reviews are not uncommon within royal institutions. Documents are catalogued. Permissions are updated. Security measures evolve. Yet this particular review reportedly carried far greater significance than anyone initially realized. Hidden within the administrative process was a decision that would soon become the focus of intense scrutiny throughout royal circles. The archives themselves were said to contain some of the monarchy's most closely guarded historical records. These were not ordinary files stored away and forgotten. They allegedly included correspondence, memoranda, institutional records, and documents connected to generations of royal history. For decades, access to such materials has been carefully controlled, with strict procedures governing who may review them and under what circumstances. That reality immediately raised questions when reports emerged suggesting new restrictions had been introduced. According to various accounts, Prince William played a central role in overseeing the review process. As heir to the throne, his responsibilities within the institution have continued expanding in recent years. Many observers already viewed him as increasingly involved in matters concerning the monarchy's long-term future. Yet few expected his name to become associated with a decision carrying such potentially sensitive implications. As whispers spread through palace corridors, attention quickly shifted toward understanding exactly what had changed and why. What transformed the story from an internal administrative matter into a developing controversy was the reported connection to Queen Camilla. While details remained unclear, speculation intensified almost immediately. Royal watchers began questioning whether the restriction was routine, precautionary, or part of a larger effort to redefine how access to historical records would be managed in the years ahead. The absence of clear answers only fueled additional curiosity. Every rumor seemed to generate two more questions. Palace insiders allegedly expressed surprise at the speed with which the story gained momentum. Discussions that had reportedly begun behind closed doors were suddenly becoming the subject of widespread interest. Commentators debated possible motivations. Journalists searched for additional information. Observers examined every fragment of available detail, hoping to uncover the reasoning behind a decision that appeared increasingly significant with each passing day. What made the situation especially intriguing was the growing sense that the archives represented something far greater than administrative records. To many observers, they symbolized institutional memory itself. Whoever controlled access to them possessed a unique connection to the monarchy's past and, potentially, influence over how that history would be understood in the future. That possibility transformed an obscure procedural decision into a story touching upon authority, legacy, and trust at the highest levels of royal life. As speculation continued spreading and questions multiplied, one reality became increasingly difficult to ignore. The true story may not have been about restrictions at all. Instead, it appeared to revolve around something hidden within the archives themselves and the extraordinary importance those records continued to hold. But the real mystery wasn't the restriction itself, it was the extraordinary significance of the archives at the center of the dispute. To outsiders, royal archives may sound like little more than shelves of aging documents. Yet those familiar with palace history describe them as something far more powerful. They contain records, correspondence, personal papers, and institutional memories spanning generations. Control over such material is not merely administrative, it is deeply connected to legacy itself. That reality explains why reports surrounding the restriction immediately attracted intense scrutiny. As speculation surrounding the reported order continued to spread, attention increasingly shifted away from the restriction itself and toward the archives at the heart of the controversy. Royal historians have long argued that archives serve as the memory of an institution. They preserve decisions, relationships, triumphs, crises, and moments that shaped entire eras. While public attention often focuses on crowns, ceremonies, and official appearances, many experts believe the true story of a monarchy can often be found within the documents quietly preserved behind closed doors. According to commentators familiar with royal history, the archives reportedly connected to the controversy are believed to contain records spanning multiple generations of the House of Windsor. Such collections are said to include personal correspondence, official communications, historical reports, and documents linked to some of the most significant moments in modern royal history. These materials are not simply valuable because they are old. They are valuable because they provide context. They explain decisions. They reveal priorities. They help future generations understand how the monarchy evolved through periods of triumph and uncertainty alike. That is precisely why questions regarding access generated such intense interest. Royal experts frequently point out that whoever oversees historical records plays a role in preserving institutional memory. Access to archives is not merely about reading documents, it is about stewardship. It is about protecting information that may shape how history is understood for decades to come. Because of that responsibility, decisions involving archival access are often treated with exceptional caution. As reports of William's alleged involvement continued attracting attention, commentators began debating the broader significance of archival control. Some argued that tighter oversight reflected a commitment to preserving the integrity of royal history. Others suggested the issue highlighted growing concerns about how sensitive materials should be managed during a period of transition. Regardless of perspective, one theme appeared repeatedly throughout the discussion. The archives represented something far greater than administrative records. They symbolized continuity between past, present, and future. The controversy also reignited an age-old question that has followed institutions throughout history. Who ultimately controls historical narratives? Documents may preserve facts, but access determines who can study them, interpret them, and understand their significance. That reality transformed what might otherwise have remained a routine procedural matter into a debate touching upon authority, responsibility, and legacy itself. Every new report seemed to deepen public fascination with the issue. Meanwhile, royal commentators continued examining the symbolic importance of the archives. To many observers, they represented the collective memory of the monarchy. Within their pages were stories of past kings and queens, pivotal decisions, private struggles, and defining moments that shaped the institution as it exists today. Protecting such records is often viewed as a sacred responsibility. Any decision connected to their management, therefore, carries implications far beyond the immediate circumstances. The more people learned about the archives, the clearer it became that this story was not simply about restrictions or permissions. It was about safeguarding a legacy that extends across generations. And as observers looked more closely at the records themselves, a new question began dominating the conversation. If the archives were so important, what developments could possibly have prompted such a dramatic decision in the first place? As observers examined the archives more closely, attention shifted toward what may have prompted such a dramatic decision. According to various reports, the controversy was never simply about paperwork. Instead, it appeared tied to deeper concerns regarding stewardship, preservation, and the handling of some of the monarchy's most sensitive historical materials. As rumors multiplied, palace watchers began asking the same question. What developments had convinced senior figures that new restrictions were necessary in the first place? The deeper observers examined the controversy, the more they became convinced that the story extended far beyond administrative procedure. Royal archives are not protected merely because they contain old documents. They are protected because they preserve the institutional memory of the monarchy itself. Every letter, report, memorandum, and private communication contributes to a historical record that stretches across generations. According to commentators following the story, that reality may help explain why concerns surrounding archival access reportedly became so significant behind palace walls. As speculation intensified, reports began circulating about broader discussions involving stewardship and preservation. While few concrete details emerged, many royal analysts suggested that senior figures may have become increasingly focused on ensuring that sensitive historical materials remained safeguarded according to long-established procedures. Such concerns are hardly unique to royal institutions. Throughout history, organizations responsible for preserving important records have often implemented strict controls to protect them from misuse, misinterpretation, or accidental compromise. Yet, because this situation involved the monarchy, every rumor immediately attracted heightened attention. Questions surrounding access permissions soon became central to the debate. Who should be allowed to review sensitive records? Under what circumstances should access be granted? And who ultimately holds responsibility for making those decisions? These issues may sound technical on the surface, but commentators repeatedly emphasize their deeper implications. Access to archives is closely tied to authority. It reflects trust, responsibility, and confidence in an individual's role as a steward of historical information. As a result, discussions about permissions quickly evolved into broader conversations about institutional oversight. According to various reports, administrative reviews may have played a role in shaping the situation. Royal households periodically evaluate procedures, update policies, and reassess security protocols. Such reviews are generally routine. However, palace watchers noted that the reported restriction appeared to emerge during a period when the monarchy was already navigating significant transitions. That timing fueled speculation that concerns regarding historical preservation had become especially important to senior decision-makers. Observers also pointed to the extraordinary value of the records reportedly involved. Archives linked to multiple reigns contain information that cannot be replaced. They document relationships, decisions, and moments that shaped the monarchy's evolution through decades of change. Protecting those materials is often viewed as a responsibility extending beyond any single generation. From that perspective, decisions involving access become inseparable from the broader task of safeguarding royal legacy itself. Yet the absence of definitive answers only deepened public fascination. Every new report seemed to generate additional theories. Some commentators argued that the controversy reflected purely administrative concerns. Others suspected deeper institutional motivations. Regardless of which interpretation proved closest to reality, one conclusion appeared increasingly unavoidable. The issue had expanded far beyond paperwork. It had become a discussion about trust, stewardship, and the preservation of history at the highest levels of the monarchy. As uncertainty continued spreading through royal circles, the conversation gradually shifted in a new direction. Commentators began asking whether the debate over archives was actually connected to something larger unfolding within the institution itself. What started as a discussion about preservation increasingly appeared, linked to questions of authority, influence, and who would help shape the monarchy's future path. The deeper commentators looked, the more the story appeared connected to a broader struggle over influence inside the monarchy. For years, Prince William has gradually assumed greater responsibility within the royal institution. Yet according to many observers, this reported decision represented something different. It appeared to showcase a future king, increasingly willing to shape outcomes rather than simply inherit them. And as attention focused on William's role, questions emerged about how power inside the monarchy may already be evolving. As the controversy surrounding the royal archives continued unfolding, One figure increasingly found himself at the center of the conversation. Prince William has spent much of the past decade preparing for responsibilities that will eventually place him at the head of the monarchy. Throughout that journey, observers have watched him take on larger roles, represent the institution on increasingly significant occasions, and gradually assume greater influence behind the scenes. Yet, according to many commentators, the reported archive decision appeared to mark a different kind of moment. It suggested not merely preparation for leadership, but the active exercise of it. That perception quickly became one of the most discussed aspects of the story. Royal watchers noted that future monarchs often spend years learning how institutions function before they are called upon to lead them. However, reports linking William to the archive review gave many observers the impression that he was already helping shape important decisions. Whether those reports were entirely accurate or not, the symbolism proved powerful. To supporters, it reflected a future king demonstrating commitment to preserving royal history and safeguarding institutional integrity. To others, it raised questions about how authority within the monarchy may already be shifting. The discussion was fueled by William's growing reputation as a figure increasingly focused on long-term stewardship. Over recent years, commentators have frequently described him as someone concerned with modernization while remaining deeply conscious of tradition. That balance has become a defining part of how many people view his future kingship. According to several analysts, the reported archive decision fit neatly within that narrative. It appeared to reflect a leader willing to engage directly with matters involving preservation, responsibility, and the future direction of the institution. Public fascination intensified as observers began examining the relationship between duty and authority. Royal titles alone do not automatically create influence. Influence is often earned through trust, consistency, and the ability to navigate difficult situations. Many commentators argued that William's growing role demonstrates precisely that process. Each new responsibility brings additional expectations. Each decision attracts greater scrutiny. And with every step closer to the throne, the public becomes increasingly interested in how he approaches leadership challenges. Within palace circles, discussions reportedly focused on what the controversy might reveal about the future balance of power. As generations change and responsibilities evolve, influence naturally shifts as well. Royal institutions are constantly adapting to new circumstances while attempting to preserve continuity. The archive story therefore became more than a debate about historical records. It became a reflection of a larger transition already underway. For many observers, the question was no longer whether William was preparing for future leadership. It was how much leadership he was already exercising in the present. That perception only intensified public interest. Every report seemed to reinforce the image of a future king, becoming increasingly involved in safeguarding the monarchy's most valuable assets, whether physical, historical, or institutional. Yet as attention focused more heavily on William's reported role, another reality became impossible to ignore. The controversy still involved another senior royal whose connection to the story continued attracting enormous interest. Yet William's reported involvement only intensified scrutiny surrounding another key figure at the center of the controversy. As headlines multiplied, much of the discussion increasingly centered on Queen Camilla. Observers debated not only her reported connection to the issue, but also what the controversy might reveal about her position during a period of transition. What began as an administrative story gradually evolved into a broader conversation about influence, perception, and competing visions of royal legacy. The more attention the controversy received, the less it seemed to be about archives alone. Instead, it became a debate about legacy itself. Royal commentators noted that throughout history, monarchies have faced a recurring challenge, determining who bears responsibility for protecting the institution's history while preparing it for the future. In this case, the archives became a powerful symbol. They represented not only records of the past, but also the values, decisions, and traditions that continue shaping the monarchy today. As media coverage expanded, public fascination intensified. discussions increasingly focused on Camilla's reported connection to the issue and what the controversy might reveal about the evolving balance of influence within the royal family. Some observers viewed the debate through the lens of personalities and relationships. Others argued that focusing on individuals risked overlooking the deeper institutional questions at stake. Either way, the story had clearly grown beyond its original scope, becoming a wider conversation about stewardship, responsibility, and the preservation of royal history. Royal historians frequently pointed out that concerns surrounding legacy are hardly new. Every generation of the monarchy faces decisions about how best to protect the institution while adapting to changing circumstances. Archives, traditions, and historical records often become symbols of that broader mission. For many commentators, the controversy reflected exactly that tension. It was not simply about who could access documents, it was about who would help safeguard the monarchy's collective memory, and how that responsibility should be exercised. Public debate intensified as competing interpretations emerged. Some viewed the reported decisions as evidence of a commitment to preserving institutional integrity. Others saw them as part of a larger discussion about influence during a period of transition. Comparisons to earlier royal controversies soon followed, with analysts noting that moments involving legacy and authority have repeatedly shaped the monarchy's evolution. The specifics may change, but the underlying themes remain remarkably familiar. As the discussion continued, one conclusion became increasingly difficult to ignore. Beneath the headlines, speculation and competing narratives lay a much larger question about the future itself. How should the monarchy preserve its history while preparing for the generations ahead? It was a question with no simple answer, yet one that appeared central to the entire controversy. And as opinions continued to clash, attention increasingly turned toward the monarch caught between competing perspectives. Caught between his role as king and his relationships within the family, Charles reportedly faced a difficult challenge. Every possible reaction carried risks. Every decision invited scrutiny. As observers examined the fallout, many became increasingly focused on what the king's position might reveal about the future balance of authority within the House of Windsor. As the controversy surrounding the royal archives intensified, attention gradually shifted toward King Charles himself. Royal commentators argued that few individuals were placed under greater pressure than the monarch. As husband, father, and sovereign, Charles occupies a position where personal relationships and institutional responsibilities often collide. According to observers, that reality made the reported archive dispute especially sensitive. Every potential response seemed capable of creating consequences, while every silence generated even more speculation. Reports and rumors fueled endless discussion about private conversations taking place behind palace walls. Commentators debated whether the controversy reflected a temporary disagreement or a deeper shift in how authority would be exercised within the monarchy moving forward. At the same time, many people viewed the story through a much broader lens. What began as a debate over archival access increasingly appeared, connected to larger questions about leadership, stewardship, and the future direction of the institution itself. Yet as the headlines multiplied, a larger perspective began to emerge. Years from now, royal watchers may forget many of the individual reports and competing narratives that surrounded the controversy. What they may remember instead is the story of a decision that transformed an administrative matter into a global discussion about power, responsibility, and legacy. For many observers, the archives became a symbol of something much greater than documents or procedures. They represented the monarchy's connection to its own history and the responsibility of protecting that history for future generations. The controversy also reinforced growing public interest in Prince William's evolving role. To supporters, the reported decision reflected a future king increasingly willing to engage directly with questions involving stewardship and institutional preservation. To others, it highlighted the complex challenges awaiting the next generation of royal leadership. Either way, the story captured worldwide attention because it touched on themes that extend far beyond royal life itself. Trust, duty, accountability, and the difficult choices required to safeguard a lasting legacy. And while the full truth may remain locked away with the documents themselves, the lasting significance of the controversy may ultimately be measured by the legacy it leaves behind. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you in next one.